Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our session on one of the really great bargains, real value online MBA programs in the world, the Boston University's Questrom School of Business. I've watched this program very closely even before it was launched, and it's a terrific program. It's a school that when it decided to go online with an MBA, didn't merely put its traditional courses online, but took out a white piece of paper and redesigned what an MBA should be for today's world. We have with us two terrific people to talk about the program. One in the seats in the virtual classroom, Doris Gonzalez, who will be graduating in January of 2024. And we have from the school, the Director of Online MBA Admissions, Liz Wagner. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us, John.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So Liz, I'll start with you. Give us the basics on the program. I mean, this is a really special program at a special price. And I think it's very unique in the way that the courses are taught, very thematically and in multidisciplinary ways. But you give us an overall view to let people know what you're offering here and why it's special.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, the online MBA at the Questrom School of Business, which is at Boston University, was launched in fall 2020. So we're sort of one of the newer kids on the block, maybe not the newest, but in the scheme of things, one of the newer programs out there. And we are a 24-month program that is $24,000. So it's very sort of disruptively priced. And we are a fairly large program. We're bringing in around, I would say around 900 students across 2 entries every calendar year. So we enroll students in August and in January. And our goal is to really bring this business education to a large number of people while keeping quality at scale. So having a really top program with top faculty, it's the same faculty that teach in our residential program. And you'll see, as you noted, it's very different than a lot of programs out there. There aren't individual classes, but instead it is this module-based approach where you experience your coursework like you do in the real world, where everything is interconnected and changed. So you're going to still get all the same core business skills that you would find in any top-ranked MBA program, but you're doing it in this really innovative, interactive way. So it's just a really different way of looking and studying at business. But it's fantastic. We've graduated a couple cohorts so far, and we've been really, really excited. We've got 95% retention rate, so things are going really great, and we're really, really happy with the program.
Yeah, that's terrific. And I know, having spoken to many of the faculty there, how hard they work to make this happen. And when you're reinventing an MBA education, you've added a whole other layer of complexity to this. So as you pointed out, you're teaching in modules. Give us a sense of what the modules cover.
Sure. So they're going to cover things that you would expect, like accounting and finance and economics, but we also have some themes that are, I just think, vital to a business education. We've got a module called Leading with Integrity, where you're really thinking about being an ethical business leader and what does that mean to you. And you do a lot of self-reflection of who you are as a manager and what that's going to look like for you. Our sort of tagline at Questrom is creating value for the world, and I think of that as creating value for yourself, for your organization or company that you work for, and the world around you. And so that's really important to us. You're going to cover the quantitative aspects that you'd expect, but it's through a theme called managing performance with data. So how do you use data to drive the decisions that you're making? We've got a module on innovation. We've got a module on risk, but instead of just being financial risk, we're looking at risk from a variety of different lenses, whether that's political, environmental, societal. So it's sort of taking all the same core business skills, marketing, strategy, entrepreneurship, but then also bringing in some of these other elements so you really get a cross-functional education and you're getting those core business skills, but you're also doing it in this integrated approach where you can then apply it to all that you're doing as a manager.
Yeah, I really like this because I think that this is really the future of business education in many ways. You took your accounting course, your finance, your marketing, your strategy, your leadership, all in silos is really coming to an end. But bringing these things together and teaching elements of the fundamentals as you need them to solve large problems is the way to go. Now, Liz, it's 100% online. You don't have to show up on campus, do you?
Correct. Yeah, it's 100% online, 24 months. You have up to 6 years to complete the degree. We do have live sessions, so it's sort of 2 hours of 2 hours of synchronous work each week, and then the rest of it is going to be asynchronous, whether that's teaming. We do teaming in the online MBA, whether that's working on your own. We have a very distinct weekly learning journey to help students manage sort of the coursework as they work themselves through the program, but 100% online. And if you want to, you can do it in 24 months.
Well, Doris, let's go to you for a moment.
Sure, John.
And I'll offer my congratulations already, because you're at the tail end of your studies.
Thank you.
Since you intend to graduate in January. But Doris, in the first place, what led you to choose an online MBA program? Bring us through your thought process.
Sure. So for many years, I've wanted to pursue an MBA, but I'm the highest financial breadwinner in my family. So leaving work and going to a brick and mortar, traditional school was just not an option for me. And then as soon as I saw that this was available, that Questrom had this, that the online MBA diploma was exactly the same as if you had gone traditional school, that was a no-brainer for me. So that really was what closed my decision, made sure that I pursued it. I'm grateful for that.
And as you point out, I mean, the great flexibility that's offered with an online education is obvious. You keep getting a paycheck, and you can apply what you learn on the job as soon as you learn it, which is a really important part of the education, because you can actually try it out and impress your boss and increase the odds of getting more pay increases and promotions. Now, Doris, tell us a little bit about the learning experience. Was it difficult to adjust to an online environment?
Not difficult at all. Like you said, it's very flexible. Each course, each module has a different cadence. Sometimes live classes are on a Thursday or on a Wednesday, but every module, it's very well communicated and clear cut. So the flexibility, like you said, is key. And it's definitely very helpful for me.
The other aspect of flexibility is you can do it in 2 years and stretch it out to 6. In your case, how long will that actually take?
No, it will be 2 years.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
You were on the fast track, right, from day one.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and what's the course load like? I mean, how many hours a week do you spend working either offline or online?
It depends again on the module. Some I had to spend a lot more. I wouldn't say it's more than 20 hours of individual time. And then we also have our team, which is great. I've learned so much from my teammates. And again, every module is different, but there is some time for that as well to meet with the team. We meet via WhatsApp or via Zoom, and again, it varies team by team. But one of my favorite things was, my first module, 0 and 1, my teammates have become lifelong friends. So not only will they be friends now, but they'll be friends into the future. And I'm grateful for that. I would not have met them if it wasn't for this program.
And even though you weren't physically present with each other, you still were able to make these deep bonds with people, because when you say they're going to be my lifelong friends, that's really remarkable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one member is from the Middle East, another one is from the Northeast. I would not have had an opportunity to get to know them and meet them and learn from them if it wasn't for this type of environment. So I'm very grateful for that.
And is most of the work group work, or is most of the work individual, or what?
It's a pretty nice balanced combination. And again, it varies from module to module. But there's some that there's less teamwork, and then there's some that have more.
So a nice balance, in other words.
Yeah.
And what about the professors? Tell me a little bit about them. and your interaction with them? Because I think there are two things that many people go into an online MBA thinking, okay, I'm not going to have these deep bonds with my classmates. You've proven them wrong there. And then I'm not going to be able to connect with the faculty in a way that I can in a traditional program. What has been your experience?
Yeah, so every week there's a live class, and the live class is a couple of hours and it's interactive. And a lot of the professors actually go out of their way to ask questions and to engage the students. And so they are available. I mean, there's one in particular that I'm thinking about, Jay-Z. It's super cool. But we also have, you know, of course, learning facilitators. We have hours weekly where we can engage with the professors. So definitely you can build rapport and have their back if you need it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's terrific. Do they have office hours?
Yes.
So you can also meet them in the office, the virtual office, of
Virtual.
course, and go over probably even practical issues that you're dealing with at work, where you know the course kind of coincides with your work challenges, and actually probably use professors as sort of consultants, your personal consultants, to help you out. Liz, I wonder, going back to you, you know, what would you say is a way you kind of replicate the notion of networking, mentorship, career development opportunities in an online MBA program?
Yeah, that's something that was very important to us from the start. So we wanted to make sure that just because we were online, that you weren't missing out on teaming, you weren't missing out on that networking piece. So that's always been sort of from the beginning, something that was really important to us. And so we do that in a number of ways. We have formal networking events. We have a fantastic student success team that's headed up by Dr. Meg Kenny, and she and her team does an excellent job of having a variety of different events. Some are going to just be sort of for fun. Others are going to be like true networking events based around a shared industry or a shared interest. We have some really active affinity groups. So we have over 50 affinity groups, whether they are, again, sort of identity based or whether they are around industry or just, I know Doris can talk about it, but we have a South Florida group, like we have affinity groups, which is great for in-person networking. And we've really encouraged our students all over the world to meet up and gather when they can. And then it's just, yeah, we do a variety of different networking events through that student success team. And all of those are going to be on Zoom. We've got the affinity groups, and we have informal meetups with students, both online and in person. And there was one other thing, and it just went out of my head that I was going to tell you about. It'll come to me. But yeah, I think it's really, really important that we have these kinds of opportunities for our students. And we've, you know, one of the things, not just from Doris, that I've heard often from our alums and from our current students is sort of how surprised they are that they're able to make these connections and have this kind of experience. And that has always been, to me, something that I'm so value, that feedback, because it is such an important aspect of the program. And we worked really hard to make sure nothing is lost. Just because you're online, you're still able to make those connections, you're still able to network and really take advantage of all the resources of Boston University from wherever you are in the world.
That's great. Now, it needs to be said, and because I think there could be misinterpretation out there, that an online program is not a light MBA. It's a rigorous program. It demands a lot of discipline. And so, Doris, I wonder how you've been able to balance your personal, your professional, and now your academic life for these past 2 years. What secrets did you learn about how to make it all fit in?
It's very tough. One thing is that I came up with this early on, and I've suggested it to every single mod group that I've had, is that on Fridays, the coursework for the week is released. So I've always suggested that at noon Eastern time, the group meets so we can go over all of the assignments for the week, not only individually, but as a team. And so that if we know that it's a team, we can plan right then and there when we should meet, if we need to meet more or less. And individual, if anybody in the group has any questions or doesn't understand, we can all make sure that we have, you know, clarity there. And then we're ready to have a successful week. And that's a success story that I've shared with other mods when I come into a new team, because that's been successful from the beginning, I believe.
See, that tells me you're a real good planner and a real good organizer, and you have incredible discipline, all things that I lack.
And the flexibility goes great with real life. This is real life that we're talking about. You mentioned home, school,
Yes.
work, very stressful. I, in the middle of this program, was diagnosed with cancer, unbeknownst in the middle. But within a year, I'm fine now. I'm cancer free right now. But because of the flexibility of this program, I was able to talk to the school. They were able to allow me an extra week to catch up for when I was in chemo. So I've been able to really, thanks to just the empathy and professionalism, I've been able to overcome that challenge. That's just so human, so I am very grateful.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. And I'm so glad that you're recovered.
Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Thank you.
And I'm sure there were times when the academic demands conflicted with your professional career or conflicted with your family, personal responsibilities. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
just a
it's
matter
about
of,
managing it.
yeah, it's just a matter of, juggling it, putting things that are more important, first, reprioritizing and constantly doing that and shifting things around, but it's doable.
Has the program changed the way you approach work?
Yes, I see things now more globally, more holistically, more as an organization. I am in the field strategic sales part of the business, yet I look at decisions more at a bigger scale now. And I have more empathy working with other teams, and I can communicate with them more effectively because of this program.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So if you had to identify 3 highlights of the program for you, what would those 3 highlights be, Doris?
Yeah, so one I mentioned earlier, which was learning from my teammates or my schoolmates and becoming lifelong friends. So that was number one.
And I just want to underline that for everyone out there, because I think one of the great benefits of a really good MBA program is the experience that people bring into the classroom from all walks of life. Some may be in the finance area, HR, strategy, operations, whatever, and in different industries and different companies. So you're getting exposure to a tremendous wealth of experience that you can't get anywhere else. And the dirty little secret of most business schools, most students learn more from each other than they do from the professors, who are basically, conductors of an orchestra, right? So
yeah, I've had attorneys in classes. I've had hospital CEOs in classes. It's just it's just amazing. It's just wonderful.
it opens your eyes to, I think, the complexities and the different dimensions of the economy.
Absolutely.
And how many different jobs and opportunities there are in this world. Okay, number 2, number 2.
Number 2, I was gonna say the live classes. They're very informative and very entertaining. If it was a streaming show on Netflix, I would totally watch it, but I get to be a part of it. So I think that's great. And then
And let me just add to this, okay, because I think I want to underline this as well. For a program that costs $24,000 to have live weekly classes with students, that's a big deal. There are a lot of underpriced online MBA programs that have no live classes at all. And I think you lose a tremendous amount when you're only watching videos and nothing else. So those live classes not only allow for you to make a connection with a professor, but it allows you to also get all that experience from all your classmates who are bringing their different perspectives to the class. And then your number 3, Doris.
My number 3 is the flexibility. I mentioned earlier how my life was just upended, and I was able to get through that 1 year because of the flexibility of the program. So not just forget just normal life, take it to another level, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, Liz, obviously, technology advances have made online learning very effective. And I know there's not a day that goes by when there's yet another innovation of one kind or another that improves just the interaction among students, faculty, increases the efficiency of the learning. There are a lot of tricks to effective online teaching. From your perspective, do you see other technology changes on the horizon? Maybe even AI and the use of it in deploying this for online learning?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's one I think we all are thinking about, sort of, especially AI is such a hot topic right now, and where is it going to take us? For us, I think something that's so important is the faculty piece and those live faculty that are part of Questrom. They're not, some random person, but they are Questrom faculty that are there each week live at the exact same time as you, interacting with you is so important. So I think for Questrom, it's, utilizing all these unique technologies, and whether that's using AI to help with the grading. I mentioned we're a large program, so I'm sure there's some more things we could be doing in that regard. And we use a variety of different technologies anyway. From the inception, we've used feedback routes and Yellow Dig and all these different softwares to complement. So you're not just sitting on Zoom, but you're doing Zoom, but you're watching videos, you're doing feedback online, you're meeting with your team, you're having these interactive, we use a lot of breakout rooms and polling in the live sessions. So they are really interactive. I think students are always shocked and maybe appalled that they get cold called in live sessions, as if I said, it's just grad school. You're going to get cold called, even in an online MBA, and that sort of blows people's minds, both in a good way and a bad way. But I think, there is always going to be space and the need for that live human interaction. But also, I think it's important that we keep up with the technology, and sort of, your guess is as good as mine, sort of the direction, the next hot new thing that's going to come out. But it's important to us to keep up with that technology while also staying true to what makes the program so special.
Yeah, true. And I know there are a lot of ed tech firms working on things that increase engagement. And engagement is sort of a buzzword in education, but I think, in the online learning space, the deeper the engagement is, the more focused and more effective the learning, and the more long-lasting it is. And I see many developments in the area of engagement moving forward as well. What's been the most difficult part of the biggest challenge for Questrom in putting this whole thing together and getting it to be as successful as it is?
That's a good question. I think, from my perspective, at least, it's really important to me that we bring in the most diverse class we can. And I don't mean that just in the traditional sense, but in undergraduate background, in nation of origin, in functional area represented, industry represented, backgrounds. And so, we're a very large program, but we're not necessarily for everyone. Someone who's looking for, I have actually a good friend that was looking for a program. They wanted no live classes. They wanted very cut and dry silos. And I said, don't listen, we're not the right fit for you. And they're like, but you're supposed to be in admissions selling me your program. I'm like, we're not the right fit. And so to me, it's really important that we have students that are excited about our innovative modules and that integrated curriculum. And that, so to me, one of the challenges is we're a large program, and it's continuing to find the right people for this type of program, the people like Doris that are going to thrive with both the flexibility, but also understand kind of what we're all about. And so, you've heard us talk, Paul Carlisle and others have talked about sort of this idea of quality at scale, and maintaining that is really important to me, that we're bringing in really fantastic people from all different backgrounds, because as you said, you're going to get so much out of it from your classmates. That's so important. And I think there's, a program that's as large as ours, there's some worry sometimes that it's, there's going to be so many people, you're going to get lost in the shuffle, or you won't have that diversity of background, and you do, and that's always going to be really important. So to me, one of those big challenges is keeping it that way and continuing to bring in really fantastic people while also growing the program and maintaining that quality. That's always going to be, at least for me, top of mind, is keeping that quality of the program for our students, and really staying true to what makes Questrom Questrom, and how do we do that while also making it available to as many people as we can. So
How much of your current enrollment is international, Liz?
we're about, I want to say just around 30%. It
Wow.
give or take. It depends year to year. I think this last cohort was a little bit less than we've seen before. What's interesting is when we look at sort of someone's sort of original nation of origin. It's unbelievable the sheer number of countries we have represented. But then we also have a lot of students that have become permanent residents and things like that, and they'll of course count as a U.S. citizen. But I would say about roughly around 30%, 25-30% of the class is international.
I'm going to just make everyone know how unusual that is and how good it is, because most online MBA programs pull within a 150-mile radius of a given school. But because of the disruptive nature of the Questrom program, both in terms of its innovative curriculum and its pricing, you're drawing from a vastly broader range of students and regions than a typical online MBA program would. So therefore, if you're a member of this cohort, you're going to benefit from the global experiences being brought into the classroom that you're not going to get in most other online MBA programs. That is an overlooked and unique feature of the Questrom online MBA. Doris, if you had to do it over again, would you?
Absolutely.
Good answer, Doris.
We didn't even have to think about it.
What advice would you give to others out there who are thinking about, oh my goodness, can I do this? Can I find the time to do an online MBA, or I'm undecided about, do I do a traditional program on campus, which Questrom also has, of course, or do I do the online version, and what do I sacrifice between one or the other? What's your advice to people who are, juggling those questions in their heads?
Yeah, a famous BU alum, Martin Luther King, said, just take the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. Just do it. The program it's challenging. It's not a cakewalk, but it's something that you could definitely do, and it's flexible enough that you can plan around your schedule to be successful. Yeah,
I like that. Take the first step, and that's almost the hardest step to take, and which is why you need to focus on just that one step and not the entire journey that you're about to embark on. And I'll put another thing: the journey is the reward, which is something that Steve Jobs said over and over again in the early days of Apple Computer. Liz, what's your advice to prospective students of the program?
I think Doris's advice is great. Take that first step. I always sort of say this is an investment in your future. And so you've got to put in the effort, but it's worth it. This is something you want to talk through with your family and make sure everyone's on board, because if you're doing it part-time, you're most likely still working full-time, and you also have other family obligations, whether that's children or caregiving or just a busy personal life. You've got to kind of plan for all of that. And so you've got to sort of think through how you're going to make this all work, but it's absolutely worth it in the end. I would say for people that are just starting their research, look everywhere. Look at a lot of different programs out there. There's new ones coming onto the market constantly. Some are very similar, some are very, very different, and sort of think about what works for you. Are you looking for a hybrid option? Are you looking for 100% online? Are you looking for live sessions? Are you looking for very traditional? Are you looking for certain resources? Are you looking for it to be in a city you eventually want to move to? Sort of make your list of what's important, and then look at all the different schools out there, and don't rule anyone out, because you never know what school might catch your eye. And hopefully it'll be Questrom, but if not, it's worth putting in that effort, going to events like this, run through Poets and Quants, meeting a lot of different schools to help you figure out that fit and which school is going to be the best for you and your goals and your interests.
That's a really good point, because an online MBA program is not an online MBA program, meaning it's not a commoditized business. There are different stripes for different people, different twists, different costs, obviously, different time commitments, different amounts of flexibility, different amounts of diversity and inclusion. So do your research for sure. Now, Liz, if someone wants to reach out to the school and get more information, what's the best way to do that? I know your website is spectacular, and you got a lot of data on there for people to chew on.
Yes, they can any questions, they can email me directly. My email is just E for Elizabeth and my last name Wagoner @bu.edu. But because this is being recorded and sending out to the masses, the faster or easier way to know is to just email mba@bu.edu. But I'm happy to answer personal questions, and anyone that writes to me, I'll write back. It's me answering. But I'm always happy to answer questions from prospective students, or our website has great information. And on our website is a list of admissions ambassadors like Doris who are happy to answer questions from the student perspective. That's, I guess, my other piece of advice: get beyond me. I'm paid to say good things. Doris is not. So always, get beyond admissions, talk to current students, and then any questions can be sent directly to me.
Great. Well, now, Doris, you'll be graduating in January. What are you most looking forward to at the end of the program? Not your graduation and your diploma, but is there something in the final module that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, it's like bittersweet, because I'm like glad that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit back of my life back. But at the same time, I'm gonna miss the Thursday or Wednesday live classes. I'm gonna miss being in the team, and doing all of that. So I'm excited that it's a accomplishment to earn my MBA, and especially through so much adversity that I was not foreseeing.
Very true.
So just very grateful. I'll be there in May in my commencement, God willing, and we'll be very proud.
And I'll be there too, Doris, to give you a hug and say how proud we are of you.
Can't wait.
Yes. I'll give you a virtual hug and a congratulations on a job well done, particularly given the adversity you had to face, which is quite scary. But great. You have a great attitude. You're super positive, and you're going to go a long way, kid.
Thank you.
All right, we're speaking with Liz Wagner, who is the Director of Online MBA Admissions at Boston University's Questrom School of Business, and Doris Gonzalez, who's graduating with her Online MBA from Boston University's Questrom in January. Now, if you're interested in getting more information, you know how. Liz actually gave her personal email address to you. Use it. Make her sorry that she did. And if you are in the sort of consideration phase for an online MBA, Questrom really should be in that consideration set. Given the brand, BU is a fantastic brand. Given the innovation in the program, and given the price, you're going to have very few other options in the world that offer this much value for a student. So for all of you watching, thank you so much. And Liz and Doris, thank you as well.
Thanks so much, John.